Hi friends, welcome back to Faith and Arrow Homestead. My name is Jaylee, and today I wanted to talk to you about the importance of trying to source as many of your cooking ingredients local as possible. This has been something that I've been working towards because I've cut seed oils out of my diet. I've been trying to make as much of my food from scratch, homemade as possible, and with that comes sourcing really good quality whole ingredients. And the closer I can get those to home, the better I feel about it. Honestly, it really just comes down to trust for me. On this journey that I've been on, that you have kind of seen unfold on this channel, I've become very non-trusting of the food that is in grocery stores. Now that I understand how deceptive the marketing can be for a lot of these products, I am just not interested in purchasing them from stores anymore. There are still a few things that I purchase from the store. I still get coffee from the grocery store. I still get coffee creamer from the grocery store. A lot of my like paper products and soap products and things like that. Otherwise, I have found a way to source pretty much everything else, either local or from sources that I trust, like Azure Standard, for example. So I just wanted to show you what I have started doing and maybe inspire you and motivate you to look into something similar. I live in upstate New York. I don't live in any kind of special area. I'm not in a particularly big city or popular area. So I do think I'm safe in saying that my area is not very unlike many other areas in the United States. And I think that if you dig and do some networking and some research, I think you may find that what I have here that I'm going to show you is obtainable for you as well. Of course, I can't say that's not a blanket statement. If you live in a really, 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 really tiny area or a really, really, really big area, perhaps maybe not. I'm in a pretty middle-sized area. I don't know, but I think that it's worth looking into. So what I've done, I started purchasing raw, unpasteurized, organic, grass-fed milk from a local farm. This farm is actually not, it's about an hour and a half away from me, but they have drop locations where they have a driver that brings the milk, and everybody goes on a set day to this person's house who has refrigerators in their garage, and we pick up the milk from their house. My parents and I went and visited this farm. We met the family who runs this farm. We met the cows. We saw their living conditions. We saw their milking setup, how they package the milk and get it ready to come out to us, the consumers. And my parents especially, were just taken with the whole thing. And so once I got to meet the family and the wife, a really, really sweet lady, similar in age to me. She just had a baby, I think just a month before I met her. I decided that not only do I want to go this route for my own health and for my own cooking purposes, but I realized that I would be supporting an actual family with faces and names and a home that I've seen. And that was really impactful for me, because when you go to the grocery store and you buy food, your dollars just kind of go into the abyss. They're being used to feed the machine as a whole. But when you give your dollars to these hard-working family farms, you have a face and a name and know exactly where those dollars are going. Those dollars are going to a water bill and to grain for the cows and, et cetera, clothes for the baby. And you know where those dollars are going, and you know the family that you're supporting. And that really hit me hard. I was like, that is what I want to do with my money. We work so hard for our money, and I want to have more control over who gets it and where it goes. And so that is kind of honestly more the reason why I'm coming to you today, because we've talked a lot about different places that you can source ingredients. You know about the farmer's market, you know about Azure, you know about Thrive. Like, there are places out there that you can go. But if I can bring it all the way back to square one, where these items are being produced, and buy them directly from the family, that's what I want to do. I'm interested in that. So we have the milk, and that's what this is. I get 2 gallons of milk every other Tuesday. So I can, and we drink or use all of it. So I'm getting, yeah, so that makes sense. 4 gallons, no, yes. If I'm getting 2 gallons every 2 weeks, I'm getting 4 gallons a month. And that works out really well for Tom and I. Perhaps in the future we'll need more, but for now, this works. And it is delicious, so good. It's got that really strong cream line. Hopefully you can see that. So good. I was already getting this. When I had this whole epiphany and revelation that I just explained to you guys, I kind of looked at their website. They have a website, and I was like, what else can I purchase from her? And I realized from them. And I realized they do pigs and they do cows, they do butter, they have chickens. So I said, okay, I'm just going to try and get as much from them as I can and as little from the grocery store as possible. So what I'm showing you today, I have 2 gallons, and actually I have another ½ gallon in the fridge that I didn't bring out. I'm gonna try to use it to make mozzarella cheese. So I'm actually getting 2½ gallons every other Tuesday. I get 27 ounces of butter from them. I get 2 dozen eggs, but I only have a dozen here because I give the other dozen to my parents. When she put together this bundle for me, when I told her what I wanted to do, she gave me the option of 2 dozen eggs or yogurt, some amount of yogurt. I don't like yogurt. I'm trying to get myself to like yogurt because I know it's good for me. So I've been getting the eggs and I've just been sharing them because I don't need the eggs. And then in here, I have a whole chicken. This is a pasture-raised, without antibiotics or hormones, on their farm, whole chicken. And then I get 2 packages of, ooh, this one says, oh, fun. So this is, I just said sausage. I didn't specify what kind of sausage. So this is organic fresh chorizo, and this one says organic breakfast sausage, and it has the ingredients. Oh, they put sage in it, yum. And then I have 2 packages of ground beef. Now, I know if you're watching this and you have a big family, then you're probably like, that's nothing. And you're right. But I make it work. It's just Tom and I right now, and I don't have a ton of money to be spending on groceries, so I make it work. It's every 2 weeks, so I can get quite a few dinners out of all of this. And then with the chicken, I can do the broth. So I make it work. It ends up being okay. We don't, admittedly, because of my financial situation right now, we don't eat a ton of meat because meat is expensive. And so I really, really try to stretch it with other things like grated zucchini, rice, things like that. So I get all of this, everything that I just showed you, for $126. So the reason I wanted to do this, outside of everything that I just told you, my budget is super tight. I've been using the EveryDollar app. It's a Dave Ramsey product to try and budget literally every dollar that I'm bringing in. And I wanted to be able to really dial in on my grocery budget and be really specific with it. And so with her and we were working together on this. We were emailing back and forth, and I kind of explained, and she put this package together for me. So I do $126 every other Tuesday, and I'm able to bring in all of these organic, farm fresh, pasture raised, delicious animal products into my home for $126, and I'm supporting a family. So the reason I'm showing you all of this is to say, if you're somebody who's budgeting and you want to have healthy, organic ingredients in your kitchen, there is a way, and it is affordable. Trust me, I am like, every single dollar is budgeted for me right now. I am on an incredibly strict budget because I have goals and there are things I'm trying to do. And I needed to really hone in on my grocery budget. So I find $126 for butter, eggs, milk, sausage, ground beef, chicken to be very affordable and very doable. And that leaves only the stuff that I get from Azure, and I do that I'm trying to do it every 3 months. Sugar, flour, chocolate chips, cocoa powder, things like that. And then so that only leaves the occasional grocery trip where I have to get cheese, coffee creamer. What else do I get? I have somebody that I get olive oil from. I have somebody that I get maple syrup from. I have somebody that I get honey from. I'm trying to think. there's really, I did give in and buy deli meat the other day because I was really craving like a ham sandwich. I make all of my own bread. I buy pepperoni at the store sometimes when I want pepperoni on my pizza. I mean, guys, I don't buy hardly anything from the grocery store anymore. I can't think of anything else. So my point is, there's very little that I purchase from the grocery store. I give the grocery store very few of my dollars. And another point I'd like to make, the reason I'm able to make this work on such a tight budget and I can afford such luxury ingredients, because guys, this is creme de la creme here. This is the top of the top. These are quality ingredients. This is like, in my book, the best there is. I'm getting the best ingredients in my kitchen. And how can somebody who's in my financial situation do such a thing? It's because I have brought it all in and I'm only buying ingredients. I'm not buying granola bars or pre-made dinners or chicken nuggets or freezer pizzas. I'm trying to think. I'm not bringing any of that stuff into my house at all anymore. I've definitely adopted the mindset that if we want it, we're going to make it ourselves. Even Sloppy Joe, I'm going to film a video, so I don't know if you'll have seen that before this comes out or if it'll come out after this. I don't know how that's going to work out. But I have nailed down my Sloppy Joe recipe, and it tastes just like the stuff that you get in the cans at the grocery store, because come on, for me that's such a childhood flavor. I love the Sloppy Joe mix from the grocery store in the cans. You just warm it up and then put it on a bun. That is a childhood staple for me. But I'm not doing that because it's so gross from the grocery store, like the stuff that's in it. And so I figured it out. I trial and error, tried a bunch of different recipes, swapped things in and out, and I have nailed down my Sloppy Joe recipe. And it's a staple. It's in the regular rotation of dinners, and it uses ground beef that I get from a local farm, peppers that I either have in the freezer from previous years or I've got them coming in the garden now too that I chop up, onion, same thing. And then Worcestershire sauce, I guess I buy that from the store. Brown sugar I get from Azure. And then tomato sauce, I'm making that myself. So I don't have to buy Sloppy Joe mix, and I don't have to buy some of the ingredients that I just listed for you because I'm already growing them or already have them. So my point is, when you cook from scratch and you bring in whole ingredients into your house versus the pre-made versions, you're not paying for convenience anymore. That money is translated into effort. So when you are putting in the effort to make Sloppy Joe instead of just buying the can of Sloppy Joe, not only are you going to have a healthier, tastier product, but you've cut your budget. You have just decreased the amount of things that you are having to purchase from the grocery store because you can now make that yourself. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys, a bit long-winded, I'm sorry, and just kind of say, hey, this is doable, because guys, I am not rolling in the money. Let me tell you, like, my budget is so tight. Every dollar is budgeted and going somewhere, and my grocery budget is the one area where I was like, I cannot afford to spend like I'm made of money. I really have to dial this in. What can I do? And it has really come around. So I budget so $126 times 2 is $252. I want my grocery budget for the month to be $500. So I took $500 and subtracted $252. That leaves me $248 to do Azure, Thrive, Farmers Market, grocery store. And I take, I just take $240 because my bank gives me 20s. I take $240 out in cash. I do the envelope system that Dave Ramsey talks about, and I just spend that until it's gone. And I'm very mindful with that extra $240. Do I need more Worcestershire sauce? Am I almost out of flour? Do I need sour cream? Like, all of that stuff, I try and keep a really diligent list and keep it rotating so I know. But the fact that I was able to budget the 126 times 2, $252 for these staple ingredients every 2 weeks really helped me wrap my brain around the function of my kitchen in a month and what I'm able to crank out of my kitchen in a month and where I need to focus the rest of that money. And if you're a Dave Ramsey fan, you've heard him say beans and rice, rice and beans. That doesn't work for me. I like food, and that is the one area in my life where it's not gonna go until it is a dire emergency. If Tom and I are no longer able to pay the mortgage, then I'll switch to rice and beans, beans and rice. Otherwise, I'm gonna find a way to budget it in, and this was my way of budgeting it in. This was my way of being able to say, okay, we can still eat well, we can still eat quality food and have tasty dinners and, you know, and have food that nourishes us and tastes good if I can dial in my budget and make this work. And this is how I did it. So 2 things I want you to take from this today, if you've listened to me ramble this long. If you're on a budget, as I know so many of you are, you can do it. You can budget your groceries and still buy quality ingredients. If you are on a budget, that does not mean that you are stuck to the clearance items at Walmart. You don't have to do that, but you are gonna have to do some research and you are gonna have to put in some effort, because if you aren't purchasing these things from the store, that means you're making them yourself with whole ingredients. Whole ingredients are a lot more affordable than the convenience items at the grocery store. The second thing that I want you to get from this is that if you feel that whole quality ingredients are out of reach, I guess I can't say for sure that they aren't out of reach for everybody, but I would like to believe that if you did some digging and some networking and asked around and prayed about it, that you would find a resource. And that's kind of where I was at with it. I had it in my heart that this was something I wanted to do, and it just kind of happened. My olive oil guy, I found my olive oil guy on accident. It just kind of stumbled. And once you're looking, once your eyes and ears are open to this kind of thing, you start to see it. You start to notice that people are selling things. You may have driven on your way to work past the same sign in somebody's yard that said eggs for sale, and you never noticed it, but now that you're thinking about this and now that you're looking for it, you stop and say, oh my God, okay, so they're selling eggs. Things like that. It falls into your lap when you're looking for it. But if you're blind to it and you're not even thinking about it, then these things are not going to come into your consciousness. You're not going to notice them. So it's out there. It's doable. You just have to look for it. You have to open yourself up to it. And you have to be willing to, you know, when my parents and I went and visited that farm, it was an all-day thing. We went out there. It was 3 hours of driving, and we were out there for a long time with them. And it was wonderful. There was no better way for us to spend our day than out there with that family. And it really changed things for us. And I know it changed things for my parents, because my mom wasn't even on board with raw milk. And then when she went out there and saw the farm and saw the family and the cows and their living conditions and their setup for the milk, they immediately signed up for their CSA. They were completely on board. So just keep your eyes out, keep your heart open, and just know that you can do this. And I'm living proof of that, because guys, I am nobody special. I am living on a budget just like the rest of you. I make not a lot of money. Our household income is super average, and we're making it work. We're doing it. We are absolutely doing it. I feel that at this point, we are homesteaders. I can say it confidently. We're doing the homesteading thing. We are raising as much of our food as we can. We're outsourcing what we can't. We're finding local, organic, grass-fed options. We're cooking all of our food from scratch. We're doing our best to be frugal and save money and get on a good financial path. And we're doing it. We're homesteaders. And so if you have this desire in your heart, you can also do it. 100%. There's no reason why you can't. Even if this particular thing, like the raw milk, for example, even if this doesn't work out for you, there are other avenues and other things you can do to still bring some of this into your home. So anyway, if you have any questions about this, or if you want to chat about this at all, please, I'll be down in the comments, happy to chat with you. If this kind of stuff interests you, please consider subscribing, because this is what this channel is all about. I'm just an average Joe trying my best to establish really good values and morals in my home, and I'm doing my very best to practice what I preach. And this YouTube channel is just a reflection of that journey. I'm just coming to you open and honestly and saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is how this is going for me. You can try and do this too. So subscribe if you're interested, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Have faith, my friends, and keep moving forward. Bye.